Guys, welcome back to Vince Vale Custom. So today I'm sharing with you a Power Girl garage kit that I'm going to be working on. It was sculpted by Nick Hanzo and it's produced by, if I can see this, it's a Dazzling Designs creation. So you can see this is the character. Kind of go over how this came to be, and I'm going to kind of explain what I'll be doing with it. I'm not going to be doing it right away this time of the review, but I just kind of got it in the mail and I wanted to look over it. So, I actually have two of these in hand right now. Actually, one is mine and one is for my client. Now, the client I've been working for, I have been working for a long time. I think I've been painting for him for years now, and he's a really great guy to work with. We have a great relationship. Anytime he needs something done, whether it's a small repair, a quick tweak, or a full-blown repaint or whatever, I work with him and everything goes great and we have no issues. So, he contacted me a while back when this was first shown, and everybody knows I'm a Power Girl fan, so when this came out, and which I love, I had about 13 different emails or text messages or contacts through Instagram about it, and everyone was seeing if I saw it. And I did see it, and I like it a lot, but at the time, I really wasn't interested in getting one, because I looked at it and I said, I like it, but there's a lot of things I would change on it, and I really don't want to get something to have to change and tweak. And also at the time I was going through some family stuff and everything, so it wasn't really on my radar. So the guy that I do work for contacted me, says, hey, I really want to get this kit, and have you paint it up and stuff. I said, yeah, sure. I said, we'll work on it, no problem. He says, what do you think of it? Do you like it? I said, well, I like it, but there's a couple things I would like to change, a couple things I'm not really too fan of, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, well, are you going to get one? I said, nah, I'm not really going to get one. So he's like, well, you know what? I ordered two of them, and I'm just sending you one as a gift. And I did not expect him to do it, and I really appreciate him for doing that. So something like that with him, I'm always going to make sure I get on his projects and do stuff. But I was telling him that there's a bunch of stuff on this kit that I would really like to change, and he said that what I would like you to do is I want you to do those changes on mine. I said, yeah, I could definitely do that. It's not a problem. It's not like a really crazy, like, a lot of changes, but there's a few things I would like to change and stuff. So, he's all for it. So, I just got the kit in. I got two of them in. So, I opened up one. I just wanted to make sure everything was good. I wanted to see how the kit was. And, basically, going to just start plugging away on it when I get a chance. We're going to just kind of go over the review and just kind of go over all the parts. And I'll kind of explain what I'm going to probably do on my kit. Now, first thing is, when I pulled out the body, I really was surprised on how tall it is. It's about the size of a sideshow item, you know, like a 1/4 scale sideshow. And it's really well done, and it's actually heavy. So this is actually polystone, from what I can tell. I mean, it's not like a soft resin, you know, like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen, like, maybe a 3D print or even like a Onage casting. Onage castings are just resin, but this is like polystone. This is like definitely more, you kind of see how they kind of hit together. So it feels more like a polystone item, and it's really well sculpted. See, I think what it is sometimes items that I see on like online painted in certain angles, sometimes I don't really like the way they are, but then when I see it in person, I'm like, okay, yeah, it is better. I like it a little bit more. So it's really, really well done. He did a really great job with the sculpt, but there's some things I'd like to change. So we'll kind of go over a little bit more of the pieces and stuff. There is texture in the boots. I'm not seeing any like seam lines or anything, so that's good. The only thing I don't like about it is, and I guess, you know, I'm not really sure. They based it off a cover. This was like a Power Girl cover recently, and they based it off somebody's artwork. So, usually she does have like a heel. Not like high heel. She has like a little flat heel. So that's something I would probably want to add to these if I can, depending on how well they fit into the, you know, into the base. The left foot heel is up, but the right foot heel is down. So that's sort of a little bit of a problem. I don't know if I can, but I'll see if I can kind of work that out. They did put magnets into the arms, which is really good. I'm glad they did that. So that was something when I first opened, I'm like, oh, I got to add magnets, but they added magnets and stuff, so that's really good. So I guess they did the seams when they did the casting, probably around there. So I'm not really seeing any other seam lines because it's got texture. So that's pretty good. The heads are sculpted great. Now, this is the one thing I really liked about this sculpt. The heads are really sculpted really well. I really, really like them. The hairstyles are pretty cool. And it also got the head display stand too, which is really great. I like that. You know, I wish more licensed companies would do that when they come with two heads. But I guess they would charge more. But a lot of the fan art stuff that you see out there has like head display stands. So I probably won't do anything with the head display stand. I'll probably leave this alone, which I think is fine. But we'll kind of go over my tweaks in a bit. But one thing that I actually really like is that the belt is not actually attached on. And that's a good thing because one of the things that I was going to do is, if you will go online and look at pre-paint, the belt comes right across perfectly here. What I'm probably going to do is I'll probably put a belt at an angle and I'll redo the belt buckle in the center. I always like Power Girl's belts kind of at an angle because it's always loose. I know some sculptors or some artists usually have the belt tight around the waist or something. But for this one, I would rather have it more at an angle. So I might kind of come down at an angle or something like what I usually do for my custom. So that's a good thing now that I got the kit. Because if this was a pre-painted one, this would be glued in and stuff. So, and then also you also run the risk of this breaking to try to get it around. So I'd rather attach the leg and sculpt the belt and do something a little different. Cape is pretty good. I really like the way the cape is. It's definitely goes on there pretty well. But I'm going to sort of change up the brooch area. We'll kind of go over that. The cape has a texture. That's the only thing I'm not really a fan of, is the texture on the cape. So what I would rather have done is I would rather have given it more like, you know, wrinkles around this area. But I could see what they were trying to do. Like I said, they're just following the artwork. Now, one thing is there is a brooch. I think it's in this bag here. I'm not really a fan of like basically a brooch that I would have to paint. When I do a lot of my Power Girl customs, I found these online. These are actually metal buttons. You know, I had to find ones that were like typical dome ones, and I did find them, and I bought like 4 bags of them. So what I'll probably do is take one of these metal pieces and put it into the here. So this way it actually is a little bit more shiny and it looks a little bit better. And then what I'll probably do is utilize one of these or one of my other ones I have for the belt buckle, because her belt buckle is usually like that, but I would rather make it pop a little bit more. So that's something I'll figure out down the line. What I usually do is these buttons sort of have these little, you know, stuff for getting your sewing on it. What I'll probably do is take one of them out, kind of glue it to something, and I'll kind of use it as like a placeholder. And then after it's done, at the very end of the project, I take one of the buttons, I could just glue it in, and we're done. They did add like a sculpted rope that goes around the, you know, from the brooch to underneath her arm. Probably what I'm going to do is fill in this little hole here, and I'll probably put the rope coming down around there underneath the arm and put it back over in here, because it's supposed to come around her back. It's not really supposed to stop here. It's supposed to come around the back. So I have a lot of this rope. It's kind of a stretchy rope. I use this for my Power Girls, and I use it for which we call like Wonder Woman lassos. So if we put the rope there and we bring it underneath her arm and then we put it there, it'll look like this, and it'll be a little bit better and a little bit more accurate. So what I would do is I'll cut a notch in there, and then I glue in the rope in this notch, because if you let it sit, it'll go down the wrong way. And then what I'll do is I'll put like probably like something like a hole there and glue it in at the end. So I'll put like the stretchy rope like that. So that's kind of the idea for the rope with that. Let's see. So there's a lot of little parts in there. I'm not going to pull those out. So we'll kind of go over the head sculpts. Head sculpts are really good. I really like the way he sculpted these. The good thing too is they are removable to cast it up separate. So I can actually, you know, paint the head, and then I could just glue it in at the end with the hair. So that makes things a lot easier than trying to sculpt, you know, paint and everything underneath here. So this head's really good. I'm not really sure which head I like. I think they're both really done pretty well. I know a lot of people said they like this head more, but I know I kind of like this one more. Because I think the hairstyle I like a little bit better. So I'm not really sure which one I'm going to do. You know, kind of like what I would display more. Now, one thing that I didn't like about the item, and I also didn't like about the original artwork that it was based on, is the chest. I like that they gave it a good circle, and I like that the chest is fairly big, but it's not Power Girl big. Now, I'm not saying that the chest has to be huge, but I don't really like the way it's sculpted. Now, I know they have to do that for casting and also the design. So what's going to happen is I'm probably going to sort of rework the chest a little bit more, just to come out maybe a little bit higher. But I'm going to do what I normally do with my sculpts, is I'm going to sort of make it look like the circle is squeezing it a little bit more coming out. So that's something I'm going to rework on the chest. And the other thing I'm debating on is I might take down the waist a little bit, because I feel that her waist is a little bit too wide. I think if the waist could come in a little bit, so what I'm thinking of doing is I might just kind of grind in the waist a little bit here. I might grind in a little bit of the waist there, add those wrinkles back, but give it a little bit more of an hourglass. I think if I add that little bit of an hourglass, it'll have a little bit more pop to her. I think that's what I want to do. I don't know. I'll see about that. I mean, but the sculpt of the arms, the piping and everything is pretty good. So that's the only thing that's going to be a little bit tough. I'm going to have to try to match up the piping after I kind of rework the chest. So that's something I'm going to have to really see if I can get that done. The back of her looks fine. The booty here looks pretty good. They did a good job with that and everything. So I don't see a problem with really most of it. I think it's really well done. So I just want to change all that. I'm not going to change the chest on the bust, because I think that's fine. The base is really heavy, so you can see the base is over here. It's really solid and heavy. It does come in different pieces, which is kind of cool. So I'm going to have to make sure I line all these pieces up and everything, so it kind of goes on there, and then the feet and everything go like that. So I think I told my client what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the changes I would do on mine, and I'm going to show him how I do it as I progress. If he likes what I've done with this first kit and he's happy with it, I'll finish painting it up and this will be his. And the one that's my kit that I'm going to leave in the box, I'm going to leave alone, and I'll redo that another time because I'm just kind of like swamped and backed up and I can't really work on my stuff yet. So if he likes what I do with this and he's happy with it, I'll finish it up and it'll go to him. If he really doesn't like what I did and he's not happy the way I do it, and he likes kind of the way it was originally, I have the other kit that I haven't touched, and that one I'll paint up and I'll give him that one. So it's kind of like we're in a good position where I'll do my vision of what I would do with the kit. If he likes it, good. If he doesn't, then we have the other one as a backup. So it's kind of like, it's a kind of a win-win situation. So he could see what I would do. He likes it, boom, not, we go from there. So that's kind of the idea. Now, the only thing I could think of the kit that I would be a little bit worried about is, even though both feet line up pretty well, I always get a little bit worried with kits that this is kind of glued in and there's a key here, but I'm hoping that this key goes up this leg, and I'll add another key in here, but I know both feet are attached to the base in a way, so both of the feet attached to the base, which is good. It's just I always get worried with items that have just this much of a, resin or support. So I don't know if this goes up there. With this one, I think what I'm going to do is, just to be on the safe side, is I'll probably Dremel up this heel going up here. I'll probably Dremel up through here, and I'll Dremel into here, and I'll make sure I get a rod system about that thick into this leg, because I would like to make sure, or at least into the calf muscle, because I really like to make sure things are supported. This one's kind of my only concern. So I'm not sure if this one, I mean, it goes into the key okay, but I always get a little concerned. So this one I might have to see. I'll have to, sometimes if you put these to a really bright light, like in my garage and whatever, sometimes you might be able to see translucent, like maybe where the rod is, but not all resin. Since this is like a polystone, probably not, but I'll figure that out. But all in all, the kit is really good. I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's a really good sculpt. The face sculpts are getting better and better on all these items, and which I really love. So you can sort of... I like kits that sort of have a realistic look, but not like an actress or an actor. I'm not really a fan of stuff looking like actors or actresses because I don't want them on my shelf. I want the comic book character on my shelf. So these head sculpts are really good. It gives them a little bit of a personality, but you don't see like the, you know, actress or something on your shelf. So I think they did a really good job. And each head sort of gives her a different look, which is kind of cool. This one's, I would say, a little bit more serious, a little bit more fuller face. Where this one's kind of more of a little bit softer, a little bit younger, I would say, a little bit thinner. So personally for me, I like for Power Girl, a little bit more fuller face, a little bit more older. Not like 30s older, but more like, you know, 20s older, whereas this one feels more like a Supergirl, more like almost in their late teens, early 20s. So that's kind of like the difference between the two heads, if you could kind of see. I don't think the heads are swappable. I mean, we can test. I don't think they're swappable with the hair. That would be interesting if they were. No, they are not. Which is fine, because then you would kind of... Well, then you would kind of have two options, I guess. You could figure out which head you want. So, I guess in the end of the day, this is probably the one I would actually have on my display of Power Girl. I think this one would be the one. I like that one a lot more. It gives it a little bit more of that serious, older look. Whereas this one, it's got that younger, a little bit of a younger look. Her nose is a little bit more pointier than the other one. But I mean, it's still not bad though. I mean, it's still not bad. It's just, yeah, a little bit of a different look. So, there you go. That is the Power Girl review. You know, I mean, it's going to be pretty fun working on this one. I don't know when I'm going to get to it though. But, yeah, do a little bit more planning. Got to think about in my head how I approach it, how I kind of do my tweaks and everything. I just got to get some other projects done first. But, all in all, really good sculpt, really good design. Love the extra display stand for the head. That's really good too. And it's also going to be kind of cool to paint it up my way. Now, he did ask me to sort of paint it up like the factory ones that have been shown, where her outfit has a little bit more of a pearlized, silkier look. Which, if he likes my custom work, I'll paint it up his way. But when I paint up mine, I'm not really a fan of that silky look on her. I like more of a flatter look to her, so that when I do mine down the line, it'll be more flatter look. Whereas he wants that silky look, which is fine. I don't care. I like whatever people want on their item. It's not a problem. But when I do mine, it'll be a little bit different. The only other thing too is, like, I think when I do mine, but like I said, it's going to be a long time down the road, I might want to take the texture off the cape, but it'll be a ton of work. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of textures on the cape. That's kind of one thing I wouldn't do, because I like the Kryptonians, like Supergirl, Superman, Power Girl. I like their capes to look more like that leather look. Like if you look at you know, Henry Cavill's cape in the movies, that cape felt more like that heavier leather. You know, I kind of like that look better. So that's what I would do with that. But for his, I think we're going to leave it alone, because it's way too much work. Like if I do mine, and he, you know, when I work on mine, I might even kind of redo the cape a little bit too. So I don't know. We'll see what happens when I get to that. But for now, I'm just going to plan his out, kind of go through it all, and just kind of see how things work out. So let me know what you guys think. Do you like the kit? Do you not like the kit? Are you looking forward to seeing what I'm going to do with it? Is it something that you would want on your shelf or not? I don't know. So, but yeah, it did a great design, great sculpt. It's going to be a lot of fun to work on. So with that being said, thanks for watching, and we'll be back with some more videos.